What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Diesel Dog video, and tonight we're working on my 2010 Silverado again. Thing's got a lifter tick like crazy on first startup. It goes away when it warms up, but the radio works, so I'm not gonna worry about that right now. It is leaking oil pretty good. Looks like it's coming from the oil pan, getting a couple drips here and there when I park overnight. But I have cardboard, so I'm gonna let that go too. Tonight we're going to work on the front suspension here on this thing. I got some Rancho shocks and some Rough Country upper control arms and some Dirt King alignment cams ordered for this thing for the front suspension. I'm not going to really do a whole lot of explaining. There's a ton of videos out there explaining how to swap out these front struts. I'm going to give you a quick overview and I'm going to get boogie on this thing because it is late or early depending on how you look at it, but got a good cup of bean juice here going though. So let's get boogieing. So if you missed my last couple videos, here's a quick recap of what I got here off Marketplace. I got these Rough Country upper control arms with new ball joints. He gave me new ball joints with me. I already pressed the new ball joints in. Destroyed my vise. Pulled the whole vise off the corner of my workbench out back doing it, but that's all right. These were Rancho shocks. I would say were because Ranchos are white. I sanded these down. They had a little bit of surface rust come through the white paint. So I sanded them down and painted them black. Obviously, just spray bombed them with some black paint that I saved big money at from Menards. These are the Dirt King alignment cams for the Silverados. They come looking basically like this bolt color, just shiny metal. I don't know if they have a coating on them or not, but living in the Midwest here in the Rust Belt, decided to put a little spray paint on them just to keep them from getting crudded up and nasty. That's winter coming up. It's November now, so put some paint on them. Once I stick these bolts through there, I'll probably put some paint on the sides of them. I'm going to put some anti-seize on the bolt itself before it goes through the upper control arm. But that's what I got here. Basically, those three components for the front is going to lift me up another ½ inch or so because the guy gave me the 3-inch Moto Fab spacers on the Rancho shocks. Right now I'm at 2.5 inches on the truck. I'll show you. So this is my current setup right now. I got the 2-inch level on the bottom underneath I got the old blocks that go underneath the strut, and then I added a ½ inch spacer on top of the strut itself. These are just Monroe, I think, or KYB. I got them off Rock Auto like a year ago or so. I'm just gonna go with the Ranchos. Just they looked like they were good struts anyways. So the problem with this swap is when you have this block, your bolts come in from the top instead of coming up from the bottom, so you can clear the CV axle. So if I didn't have this block in there, I could just take those two bolts out and rip it off up top and just take it off through the upper control arm here. I am going to have to split the top knuckle, which isn't a big deal because the control arms are coming off anyways. You can see where I'm rubbing on my tire. So I'm going to have to pull this loose. I slide it over, then I can get my bolts out. Hopefully they're not rusted up too much. And then just keep swapping away. So yeah, I'm going to get going on this thing so I can get it done both sides tonight. And then I can try to get it aligned here within the next day or two. Got the strut out. That was a pain in the butt. Also Rust Belt stuff going on, but got it out. Now it's going to make it easier to get this upper control arm out of here because we can get our adjusting cam bolts out. They go this way and they can hit the strut if you're trying to replace those. I'm really surprised the upper control arm bolts slid right out of there. I was assuming those are going to be seized in there a little bit. Bonus. Anyways, I can show you a little bit better now what these Dirt King cam kits do. So here's your alignment dowels. You got one on either side front and rear. Basically what you're doing is you're moving that alignment cam back and forth. It's pulling or pushing. Here's kind of where the upper control arm can slide back and forth. And that's how you adjust your alignment on these Chevys. What these things do is you hit a bump and they can move or turn or whatever. So these things slide on there and you are fixated on there. You're not going to move around. You're not going to come out of alignment when you're out mobbing in your old Chevy. So that's why I got these things, just for a little peace of mind. I figured putting the extra 1/2 inch on there with the upper control arms, these things are just gonna make sure that my alignment doesn't go out of whack. You know, you get some expensive tires on there, you want to make sure you're not chewing them up. So there you go, that's it. If I had some more time tonight, you can see how rusty my frame's getting. I'd probably clean all this up and try to paint it tonight, but that's gonna have to be another night. I'm gonna get this back together. All right, y'all, here is the current setup. Got the upper control arm doing its job. Rough country uppers basically correct your ball joint angle when you go up higher with these struts. You're basically pushing all the suspension down, which pushes the truck up. So your upper control arm and lower control arm all do this motion. So your upper and lower not as bad, so usually you don't mess with that, but your upper ends up being super maxed out. You run the risk of premature failure on your upper or it just popping out of its socket altogether, especially if you're running like 14 wides or something on your truck. Then you definitely want to get some upper control arms on your truck, whether it's rough country or spend the extra money for some like Dirt King or Cognito or whatever you guys run. But anyway, anything correcting that ball joint angle is going to help you out. So we got the rough country uppers there, the Dirt King alignment cams went in pretty smooth, man. I think those are really gonna give me some peace of mind. Painted them red, but it doesn't matter because the rest of the truck just is rust here in Illinois. I really should just paint all of this. But anyways, so we got nice fancy red alignment cams on there, and then we got the Rancho struts on there with the 3-inch level up front. So we went from a 2.5 to a 3-inch upper control arms, alignment cams, keeping us all in sync. The bolts I grabbed for this strut are a little bit longer than I like. I'm probably gonna put some shorter bolts in there. They're not hitting or anything, but it's like pretty close. All in all, easy install except for getting everything apart. But like I said, everything's rusty. And I mean, I'm pretty super stoked on this. I think it looks cool. I'm gonna get the wheel on there, do the other side, bing, bang, boom. I'll probably pick the camera back up in the morning. I already know the kids are gonna have me up early, so I'm gonna try to get this thing done here. All right, guys, it's actually been like a month and a half since I've done the work on the front end of my pickup. Just haven't had a chance for whatever reason to finish this video. But I want to turn the camera around, show you what the truck's looking like, looking freaking beefy. And then I want to squeeze under the truck here and show you kind of what my angles are looking like currently. This is where we're at right now with that extra, well, 1/2 inch in the front there. So we're currently 3-inch lift in the front, 1-inch overstock in the back. So it's got a little bit of a squat. I wouldn't really call it a squat, a little lean. I think it's a little higher in the front, looks like, than the back, but it's not terrible. It's just barely a little bit. I think it looks pretty beefy. Just a nice stance to add to the newfound ride quality. Let me squeeze under here and I'll show you what my front end's looking like. I think it's always important to show what everything's looking like underneath in these videos when everyone's doing like lift kits and stuff, because I mean, it may look good from on the outside, but what really is going on underneath when you're pushing these trucks up in the air. So you can see you're angled pretty good. CV axle got a little bit more of an angle than I had. It's not terrible. I can feel it binding up just a hair at full lock. Nothing to be alarmed about. So I'm gonna be making full lock turns at 60 miles an hour or anything, so it's manageable. Tie rod angle, you know, you got it. Lower control arm is angled pretty good, but the lower control arm is pretty long, so your bottom ball joint angle ends up not being too terrible on these when they get lifted up like that. Upper ball joint angle, I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find a better ball joint angle than that. These upper control arms really are doing their job. I was a little worried about the spacing up between the control arm and the bump stop here, but I can fit my finger in there, so I'm not too worried about it right now. I'm not mobbing anywhere yet. If I get silly with it, maybe I'll lop that thing off just to make sure I'm not hitting on it at all. Rancho shocks, definitely feeling the difference in the Rancho shocks. The ride quality along with the upper control arm is so much better than before. I didn't realize I could improve it that good. I just thought with running the bigger tires and having the 2.5 inch kit on it that I did, I was just living with a rough ride, and it is so much smoother now. And obviously my alignment hasn't moved because I got the Dirt King cam kit there, alignment cam kit. So everything's riding good. The only other thing I want to do is, you know, like I said, scuff all this up and paint it up and get it looking nice. So yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised at how much better this thing rides just by upper control arms and some heavier duty shocks, the Rancho shocks. I was a little iffy with them being used shocks, but they actually seem pretty good. Yeah, I don't have any floating down the road or anything like the shocks are blown out. They actually ride really good, hit the railroad tracks like butter. I can still feel a little bit of in the back, but I just have regular chintzy shocks in the back too, stock shocks. So I may look into upgrading to some Rancho or rough country shocks, some Fox shocks or something if you know, the pocketbook allows that. But probably gonna go with the cheaper route, like some Rancho shocks in the back or something, just to match the front. I'll leave them white. I'm not gonna paint them black. But so hopefully y'all like this video. Leave any comments or concerns down below. Let me know what you think of the new upgrades on here. Let me know what you guys think I should do in the future. If you like this video, consider subscribing or hitting the thumbs up button. That would help me out. And I'll see you guys in the next video.